what's that peninsula? The Yucatan Peninsula?
Mm-hmm.
That would be pretty sick if he took the whole peninsula and the other shore of it, so that you kept that. I don't. Is it a bay? What is that little air? The water that's within the peninsula. Like we should own all of that. That seems like
I think it is called the Yucatan Peninsula.
Inlet?
That whole area.
Yeah,
I don't know.
what happens there?
We should.
I bet it's beautiful.
We should control the entire Gulf of Mexico.
You mean
It shouldn't be called the Gulf of America.
Gulf of America.
I would.
It doesn't roll off the tongue. I'm going to stick with.
I don't know how much of Mexico we need, but I would like a lot more of the Caribbean. I
Yep.
think that there's a lot of the Caribbean down there that we should grab up some of those islands.
I think we could start by just seizing back Baja, that whole area. And what's Mexico? What the fuck is Mexico going to do about it? Let's be real. What are they going to do? Hey, if you guys try to take that land, we're going to allow unchecked migration and send tons of dangerous drugs into your country. It's like, well, you're already doing that. So I don't think.
Honestly, I'd rather have Canada.
I love Canada. I went there for the first time, and it's awesome.
It's a wealthier population, and I feel like they're closer to the American culture. But Canada would be a good fit. I mean, obviously,
we're pushing the Mexicans out of reclaimed Mexico.
I don't recall America ever being successful
The
at
Trail of
taking over a
Tears?
country that didn't want to be taken over.
It's called the Trail of Tears. Okay, we packed up, I don't know, 800,000 Seminole and 1 million Cherokee, and we said, "Pack your shit. You're heading that way." And we sent them to a whole nother ecosystem. We just marched them right across the whole country.
Who had it the saddest on the Trail of Tears is the slaves of the Seminoles.
Yes.
Like
they got to keep those.
They got to keep this. At some point, some horseman, some guy riding up, being like, "Hey, we're sending you guys north." And the slaves must have been like, "Please, please, 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 like pull us out of this." And they're like, "No, you're marching too, motherfucker. Get up there." Pretty rough.
That's crazy that we let the Indians own slaves.
I
don't know if that's more racist or less racist. You don't let your Indians own slaves? Bigots. Round here, any own a Tom or an auntie if he wants to.
I mean, it was the more traditional form of slavery they had, where it was like you just immediately, as soon as you conquer another tribe, those are your slaves now. Like that's, do not pass go. It's over. We killed most of your men, and now you're slaves.
Yeah.
What kind of slaves were they? Did they cook and clean, or were they like concubine type slaves? Like
all of it. Yeah.
They would rape you whenever they wanted, and then they would make you do like grudging work. Every single time. That is what they did. The accounts of it are wild, barbaric, and just numerous. It wasn't like, oh yeah, that one time where they caught the white people and tortured them. It's like, no, every time it's their game. I can't remember why they wanted the person to suffer so much, but it had a religious, almost spiritual reason. Like if they had enough time after they caught you, they had different torture methods. They would skin people alive, burn people alive. The one, it was the guy that Leonardo DiCaprio plays in that bear movie,
The Revenant.
The Revenant, yeah. That was a real life person. He witnessed one of his buddies. They got shipwrecked and then captured by Indians. And his buddy, they took splinters of pine and they stuck them into his body and turned him into like a porcupine, basically, while he was tied up. And then they lit all the needles of pine on fire. This like resinous pine wood. And then he slowly like roasted to death while he watched. And then after that's done, they look toward Leonardo DiCaprio's character and like, now what are we going to do to you? And he produced some dye that he had on his body the whole time. Like, I don't remember, blue dye, maybe like something that they didn't have. They had red ochre and some other stuff, but like blue dye, they were like, oh my God, and the chief was so blown away that he had this pocket full of like dye that not only did he untie him, not burn him alive, but he let him marry his daughter. And it was like, he should have pulled that dye out like 30 minutes prior before they porcupined homie over there. He could have been, here, take some of this dye.
Those guys are so, there's never been a group worse at deals. Can you imagine if the first settlers here were Jews? They would have had those guys fucking running laps. They would have been like, "Oh, check this out, Elijah. You can say anything." Yeah, that would have been the most unfair power ranking. That would have been the fucking Georgia versus the School for the Blind Jews negotiating against American Indians.
I can't remember which tribe it wasn't that sold the island of Manhattan for the glass beads and some other doodads. The Mohawks live up there, but I don't think it was the Mohawk tribe. It was some tribe in New York, but they sold the island of Manhattan for like glass beads and shiny trinkets and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I kind of get it. Like, obviously, it's not a good deal. I mean, to defend it, but they didn't understand land ownership. Land was just something they sort of passed by that just existed. Like, how can you own land? It's like when I sold my soul, or if I sold you the sun. Like, all right, I'm selling you the
Mine
sun.
now. You mean my soul?
I mean, this is just okay, fine. And now you own sunlight. Good luck with that.
I think I think the reason it happened really is they were so fearful of the Europeans that they were just trying to get something out of it because they saw the writing on the wall. Because I've heard that of like, they didn't understand land ownership. And it's like, really? Because for 1,000 years, all those warring tribes and territories very much understood land ownership. You're incurring in my land. I am going to kill you. This is not under the great bear in the sky. Like this is our land. And you just, some, Seminole guy just walked over and we're the Mohawks. Get ready to get fucked, dude, because you just crossed over the Great Mountain.
I think also like along with the land, there would often be agreements. Like it'd be like, and we won't go any further this way. And then we would just keep breaking our word over and over. And I think there's also a big difference between the Plains Indian tribes and the tribes of Texas and Southwestern America and those East Coast tribes that we'd had like 100 years of semi-okay relations with before everything went to shit, trading furs and stuff with. Like that was a big part of the French Indian War. I think that those guys in the West, maybe, I don't know if they understood ownership as much as like, this is our hunting, this is our turf. You're not supposed to be here because you're from there. But like one member of the tribe would never sell like a plot of land to another member of the tribe. It would be more about horses and people and slaves. But the idea of like having a plot of land because they were moving around so much following the buffalo herds. Whereas I think the ones on the East Coast, a lot of them were like farmers and like had established like communities. They didn't bounce around from place to place. They were also a lot more peaceful. Like the Cherokee were genuinely a peaceful tribe that what were they? I think they called them the civilized tribe or the civilized peoples or something like that.
Were they the tribe that mostly like aligned with a lot of the Europeans and then like kind of semi-used the Europeans to push out a lot of their foes and be like, oh, get a load of this. There's another group you guys are going to want to take a look at up here. And then like
that happened a ton in South America. That was a huge part of the South American Aztec thing. But I don't know about the Cherokee. All the history I've learned about them seemed to suggest that they were like real quick to learn English and to become quote unquote civilized and go to Washington and meet whatever the president was and like do good business with the Europeans.
Okay. Well, then shout out to the Cherokee.
Yeah, that's where I'm from. Those are my Indians.
Those are definitely better than the horrible ones like out in Utah who were just like collecting baby ears and shit. Like just some.
I hate the baby ear Indians.
Yeah. We do it because it freaks people out.
The Cherokee have all those casinos down here. Cherokee, North Carolina, obviously is named for them. That's that Harrah's Cherokee Casino that me and the boys went to a time or two. It is a bigger casino. I think we looked it up than any casino in Vegas. It is bigger than any of the Vegas casinos.
Was it empty?
It was hopping when I was there. I mean, It wasn't like a young party environment. During the day, we were playing poker, and it was a bunch of dudes that looked like me. I don't know, just lots of that. And then in the evenings and early mornings, we left early in the morning to go back home. The amount of zombified old people playing slot machines was a little bit like dystopic. Like seeing them all.
They rub the screen.
Yeah. They all have different interfaces. Sometimes they're slapping, sometimes they're rubbing. But it's when you see literally dozens and dozens and dozens of these 70-year plus old people just slapping their money away into a machine at 7 a.m., 6 a.m., something like that. It's like they've been here for a while. They have their drink, they've got either buckets of change or like not even buckets of change anymore. Everything's digitized. I saw that one video of the guy. He was playing a slot machine that was like maybe $4,000 per pull. And he, as he's sitting there, you don't even have to go to an ATM. You don't have to go call your bank. Right there on the machine is an ATM. He did a bank transfer directly into the machine and sent $25,000 in, and then starts rolling 2,000, 4,000, 6,000, win 800.
It's an evil genius that they removed that friction of like getting up from your chair and going to an ATM or something like that.
Maybe your head clears a little bit. The cold night air hits you on the way to the bank. You're like,
right?
You know what?
The realization.
I'm going home.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's not my thing. Aren't you glad that gambling doesn't appeal to you at all? Because I'll get a little rush when we bet $10 on a game. It gives me a reason to watch a game, even $50 or $100 bet here and there, like maybe a couple times a year. But I grew up, my dad had a friend who had a gambling addiction, and he made really good money. He made $250,000 a year or something like that. But he was always broke. He was living paycheck to paycheck, and he would have to come to my dad and be like, "Can I borrow $8,000 cash until next week?" And he would always pay the money back to his credit. Like that was one thing I was always like, it never bothered me when Bob would show up to borrow money. I would make myself scarce because I didn't want him to have to ask for money in front of me. But I never thought less of him for it because he'd show up with $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 the next week or 2 weeks later when he said he would. Like he was gonna have it. But if you do the math in your head, it's like, my God, how much money is he losing every week? That he's going, $8,000, $12,000 in the hole while making $4,000 or $5,000 a week.
You always want, even the good gamblers, like gamblers, or it could be stocks and bonds. At Cisco, people used to always tell me about their gains. During the .com era, everyone was making money. It's like, oh, you guys are talking about these gains, like you make $9,000 a day. Yet here you are in the cube next to me. Are you sure you're just not telling me about your losses? Like, I don't buy it. And I rarely see people gamble their way to real wealth. I've never seen it.
Yeah. I mean, there's like, and often when you do see it, it's kind of like, is he though? Is this some sort of sponsored thing?
Like Dan Bilzerian.
Like Dan Bilzerian, or there's a guy named Mickey who's all tatted up. I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen that guy.
That guy,
count cards.
He can do it. Well, counting cards isn't even that hard. Like what he does is even harder. Like he does all sorts of crazy stuff when he talks about beating Vegas and how much money he makes. And I don't know whether to believe him or not. He tells a good story. Obviously I have no idea. I see him at a lot of pro poker events and at a lot of cash games playing huge stakes, $500,000, $1 million on the table and stuff like that. But I've seen him play, I don't know if it's Chinese poker or Baccarat or something, but he's playing like hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. And some of his stories are really entertaining because I guess they pay you that money cash at the hotel, at the casino sometimes, and you've just got to figure out how to get out of there with it. and he talks about people following him and having to escape with like a back seat with $4 million in it.
What do you mean having to get out of there with it? I don't understand.
Well, the casino paid him his $4 million cash, so he's got a duffel bag in the back of his car with $4 million in it. People watched him just win $4 million on a casino floor. So now there are scary guys following him, following his car in their car.
That's the real way to succeed at gambling. You wait.
Just wait.
I don't know how to win at poker, but he does, and that's all that matters. Like whomp him on the way out.